So, good evening and welcome to Talking V8s. Joining me tonight is 7 times gold winner Mick Rogers. So welcome Mick and thank you for talking with me tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
Can you tell me how you first became involved in stock cars?
Well, it's through my dad. Dad was an avid stock car fan, F1, and he used to repair the armoured car at Coventry, do the electrics on it. So that's going back a bit. And he got me involved, and then Dad raced 73 to 74. And then we both got hooked on it, and we were regulars at Coventry, and I wanted to have a go in it. And as soon as I could, I did.
Okay.
So through my dad, really.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have got in through the family. You know, that's it. Brought up with it, and you just want to have a go at it.
So you started your career in bangers. Tell us about your experiences during that time.
Well, I started a local track when I was 14. I suppose technically illegal. In an A60 van, which we had around the garage. So I'd done a few laps and then rolled that and didn't turn the engine off and blew that up. So then we had some Triumph 2000. I went in. I got quicker and quicker, and then we decided to move from Grimley because it was a bit rough down there. The track was terrible. To race at Mike Parker tracks, which was Wolverhampton, Crewe, and Norton Keynes. And then before I was 16, I was up to Red Roof. And then in 1983, we decided to move to F1s. I think I was 16 then, and decided to have a go at that.
So after completing in bangers, like you said, you went into racing the F1 formula before racing V8s. Was there a particular reason behind that?
Because V8 weren't about, because we're going back in 1983, and there wasn't as many economy formulas then. There was only really F1s, F2s, or bangers.
Right.
Stocks were about, but obviously I was too old for that then. So that was the best option, going F1s. And stock cars has got the buzz. I mean, I couldn't get out the speed and all that, and that's what I wanted to have a go at.
So why did you decide to go from racing in the F1 formula into the V8s?
I was struggling with money, and it was just at the time when racing tyres, because when I first started, you could just use 890 Avon tyres, cheap road going tyres.
Yeah.
But it was just getting so expensive, and I was finding I was getting uncompetitive. And we looked at the V8s, we thought, I don't think I want to do that. But then in 1990 or 89, it did look very attractive, and there was a lot of cars racing, and everybody seemed to be about the same sort of speed. And I thought, right, I'm going to have a go at that. So I sold all my F1 stuff, the engine and everything, and I got on to Frank, 212 Frank, and he built me a car. And we raced that then, and just started off with that.
So what early Hotstox memories do you have that you can tell us about?
It was a bit of a learning curve, because if you looked at the rule book, you thought it was a standard Rover engine, and it wasn't. And also the gear and the axles. That was another learning curve. Of course, with the F1, I just used to put any ratio in, and it would pull. Either in fourth or third. It was quite a shock to learn more about gear ratios for the tracks, which was a real learning curve for the first meeting, but we soon got that sorted. Thanks mainly to Paul Lomax, who was a real good help for me, and he did point us in the right direction.
Right. Can you remember your first win and what that was like?
The first win was at the final at Crewe. I think it was a wet evening, and I was pretty good in the wet for the F1, and I walked it really. That was also thanks to Paul, because he showed me the tyre pressure, helped me out. And then the following week was Ennisford, and then he helped me out again with tyre pressures and a bit of setup, and we won Eton final for the weekend, both weekends. So I was on it then. I was keen.
Really eager. What about winning your first major title then? What was that like?
That was the gold roof at Birmingham Wheels. I didn't think I'd have a chance to win it because I was quite a long way back in the grid. And I think that was a false start or something. And I think Jason Percy drove over the front of my car and took my front shocker off.
Right.
So I thought, well, I've got no chance here. But we did line up and carried on. And somehow I got in front. I think Ray Witt spun out at the beginning. And I just managed to keep going. And he did catch me up the last bend. But I just managed to get in front of him and take the win, which I was shocked and very pleased that night.
So a very sweet win then for you.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
What were your feelings when you won your first national world title? Because when you went on to win that.
I was shocked. I mean, I didn't think I'd ever do it because I just thought I'd be a blue-red top. I didn't ever think I would be so commanding in that sport. I don't know. I was really shocked. I couldn't believe it, to be honest, that I won so many when I didn't think I was that good. I just kept going at it.
Right. Do you think it was that perseverance of just keeping going that got you there?
Yeah, definitely. You've got to keep going. Even if you're down the grid, you just don't know what can happen in stock cars. And also you've got to make your luck. You can push a couple of cars out and get moving. That's 2 or 3 places you can gain. And if the leader gets taken out, you could have a win. So that's how I've always looked at it. You've got to keep going.
Yeah. Did you ever think when you first started racing you'd win 7 golds during your career?
No way. No way. Absolutely no way. I know. And that is really down to the people who've helped me. I've always been very lucky with help. A lot of people prepped the car for me, done all the work because I was busy at work. So I do owe people a lot for what they've done for me. And I am grateful. I am really grateful.
So you also won 5 points titles. Which would you say between the gold and silvers was the harder to achieve?
Points.
The points.
All the time, the points, because you've got to be on it every meeting. Every meeting. I think one year I won 5 finals on the trot, so that helped me win the points. But you've got to be at it all the time. Your car's got to be prepped perfect all the time, and you've got to finish the races. With a wheel, if it all goes, you can't win that race, and then you can win it.
Yeah. Are there any other memorable wins that you have?
F1 wise, are you on F1 or V8s?
Well, either.
Well, F1s was my first final at Kings Lynn. My only final I won there. I was absolutely over the moon that day. In the V8, it was racing against the Speedworth. It was a lot of us and them. Yeah. It was good. It was a good bit of aggro. And the Ipswich V8 World Final, I think I was robbed of that one because they had several restarts for no reason. And they kept taking all the back markers out until somebody did put me in the fence. Got no problems with that. It's just the way they kept stopping the races for no reason, I didn't think.
Right.
Another one at Hartlepool, I had no tyres at Hartlepool. It rained. I had no tyres, no cross plies, and it was that good. I lapped everybody on the even Richard Ainsworth and all them. I lapped them, because Richard Ainsworth was the top driver at that time. I lapped him, and absolutely brilliant. In the final, he put me straight in the fence, but I did lap him. Great.
You can see that you're really proud about that one.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
So many regard you as one of, if not the most successful driver in V8 history. How does that make you feel?
I don't think I am.
Like quite modest about
successful. I am modest about it. I don't think. I don't know. I feel pleased about it, obviously, but I don't think I am the best that's ever been there. I mean, you've had Stewart, Andy Smith, Keith Chambers, Ray Witts. I don't think I'm not as good as them. I think I just had good car setup at the time, but they have gone to F1s and have dominated and won major titles. So, yeah. They are the best. But
I think
oh,
probably a lot of people will probably argue with you about that one and say, no, actually, I think you're one of the best.
I don't think I am. But I put a lot back in the sport. I did take other drivers, and I've got other drivers involved in the sport. There's Matt Smith from Starport right by us. There was Darren Cottrell. There's John Adams. I've got people involved. I had hire car as well. I used to take to the meetings. So I have done my bit for the V8s to help come along. And Darren Cottrell's still there now racing, and I regard him as a real good driver.
Yeah. So which was your favourite or most memorable car that you raced?
The tarmac car, I think, was, I built that in 97. That's going back a bit. Yeah, I built that in 97, and it just won straight out the box. I just couldn't believe it. Yeah, it won straight out, and then the border control made me raise the car up because I had hardly any ground clearance. And actually, I do need to thank them because it made the car better. It made the car better all round in the wet and the dry. And then they made me move the engine over. It wasn't illegal, but they just made me move it over, and it made the car better again. So everything they'd done, I seemed to get quicker and quicker. It made the car more drivable.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was awesome. That car was absolutely awesome.
So in 2005, you decided to go back to racing F1s. What do you, what did you decide to go? Why did you, decide to go back to racing in the BriSCA F1 formula?
Okay, I thought I'd reached the peak of what I could do, and I was getting bored, but I needed another challenge. I think we all need challenges in life, and I did 40, and for my birthday, I had a drive in Paul Hines' car at a meeting, and once I drove that car, I knew I had to sell my cars and get in there before I was too old. Yeah, and that's what happened. I sold my car straight away. I miss V8s because what I was a big fish in a little pond. Now I'm a little fish in a big pond, so I have to be careful what I get up to. But I enjoy it. I need a challenge, and we all need challenges in life. And I think I'd run the course of V8s. I think.
Okay, so you reached the peak of that.
Yeah, I haven't fell out with it or nothing. I just think I'd reached the point where it's time to move on.
So, what do you feel the differences are really between the two formulas? Do you think any of the current V8 drivers would cut it in BriSCA F1?
Yeah, I'm sure the top drivers could. Yeah, but because I've been into it, yeah, you could do it. The main difference is car setup is crucial on them. I mean, I can't believe how V8 you could near enough race, or you didn't have to do much to it. I mean, I didn't even have scales when I first built the tarmac car. You need to scale the car all the time, and axles, measurements. There's so much more in F1. And the other thing is throttle control. I mean, you only got a 240 horsepower of V8, 250. I mean, you're up to 600 horsepower. I mean, there's a big difference. And
massive.
When I first went back into F1, yeah, massive. I had a big block, which was progressive, so I could control that. Now I'm on a small block, and it's like an on-off switch. It is unreal. But I am getting used to it now. So, yeah.
Taking a bit of time.
Yeah, exactly. Making time. Yeah.
So, what were your F1 highlights then?
I won heats. I won Grand Nationals. The final. I've had various seconds. I've had 6th in the British. I'm there or thereabouts. I usually crash. that is it. I usually have big crashes. So yeah, that's what happens. But I mean, the car's better. I've got a Dan Johnson built car now, and I am going better in that. A lot better.
Well, I'd like to ask you, life away from racing. What do you like to do when you're not racing?
Sleep. Steffi says, I do have to fall asleep about 9 o'clock. It's unfortunately the job I do in is work and sleep. Steffi's accepted that. We like nice holidays. I do take Steffi away when we can.
Is that normally a weekend in Big
Um,
Vegas then?
Well, yeah, yeah. On Greek islands we like to go to. We like to island hopping around there. I usually go to America to watch the sprint cars. I have a week over there.
Yeah.
Was it 19? I went and saw Tom Harris at the King's Royal, who drove brilliantly. It was great to be British that night. He went really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. That's what I do.
Can you describe your perfect weekend then?
Perfect weekend is racing on a Saturday night, and then having lazy Sunday with Steffi, and having a drink of beer, and then that's about it, really. That's what I like doing. Gardening, I'll do a bit of gardening now.
Back to racing. Who would you say are your top current V8 drivers?
I rate Darren Cottrell. He's a friend, but I know the equipment he's got, and he goes really well with what he got. For me, Darren has got how V8 should be. A lot of it's homemade stuff. I think the car should be based more around Darren's car. That's what I think personally. And obviously then it's Kevin Stutchery, who's, since I've disappeared, he's been at the top of the game a lot of the time. So yeah, Kevin and Darren. Darren, I think, is my best driver, I think. Especially on Shale, he is pretty good. He's 100%.
So you've been involved in the sport for a long time. Which track would you class as your favourites, and which ones do you dislike?
Favourites, obviously Coventry.
Yeah.
But my old one is Crewe, because that was a man's track. Crewe was absolutely awesome. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it was such a waste that going. Really good track. I had many, because I used to race me bang around there. I had loads of victories around there, and I nearly had an F1 victory around there, Heat, but panhard rod broke, or something broke on the back axle, and ricocheted me off into the fence. So I've had some good nights there.
So, I mean, that would lead me to my next question. I was going to ask you, are there any closed tracks that you'd have back? If you could?
It's Crewe, Coventry, and Long Eaton.
Yeah.
You know, what free Saturday nights? You got the first, second, and third of the month with brilliant tracks like that.
Yeah.
Especially in the Midlands, it was great for us where we're based. We had all good meat, and then you do a Bellevue on a Saturday night. I do like racing on Saturday nights, and I think it's better under lights.
Yeah. More of the atmosphere, do you think?
More of an atmosphere in there, especially at Coventry. Used to be. Coventry would be brilliant, yeah. If that ever comes back.
Be nice, wouldn't it, to see it come back?
Oh, it'd be great. Absolutely brilliant, wouldn't it? Yeah.
So looking at how the sport has changed over the years, do you think it's heading in the right direction in respect to the sport as a whole, and also V8s as a formula?
I went into V8s because it was economy, and I think that is the basis of the sport, is economy. I think it's lost its way a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, when I started, it was Colway remold tyres, which were cheap and really good, and you didn't have fabricated wheels. And I think they've lost their edge a bit. I know they look better with the fabricated wheels, but it's all another expense. And I think, why can't you run standard 15-inch rims all the way around, which you can get plenty of? I think that's the way. Go 15-inch wheels and keep the job cheap as you can.
So what aspects then would you...
The other thing is the 4.2 engine. That's right. Well, I think the engine, originally it was a 3.5 Rover with a 4.2, but the 4.2 was governed at 6,200 RPM. Well, they don't seem to be governed now. So I think it's lost its way a bit.
Do you think that, so in your opinion, then, do you think that it's, it's more expensive, and it could do with going back to being more of a budget formula?
I think it's lost the economy side of it, because the cars look absolutely brilliant now, which is good, but I think it's lost the economy. And if you've got the money to go in F1, you might as well be going. The money to go in a V8, you might as well be going in F1 now. I think. You know, you've got to be careful you don't outprice yourself with the V8 formula.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
that is the trouble.
What aspects then would you change, if any?
I think you've got to go cheaper somehow. I don't know. I think the tyres could be the answer. The rims, tyres, and more police in an engine, I suppose. Peg the 4.2 back. But then, well, I suppose then people spend money on the 3.5. So I don't really know without upsetting anybody. But you have got to keep. I think you've got to peg it back to make it more attractive to people who want to learn how to drive a stock car and may move on to an F1. I mean, it's a great training ground. It learns your car setup and how to take a hit and give it out.
Yeah.
But I do think it's getting a bit expensive. When I hear how much cars are going, well, you may as well get an F1. Really.
But I'm going to move on now. I mean,
Yeah.
you have mentioned a couple of the crashes that you've had. You know, you said, you know, you crashed quite well. Have there been any memorable moments in your crashes that you think, oh yeah, that was a really rough one?
I've had several rough ones. In the F1, and I had a bad one at Stoke when I was leading the final, and somehow I managed to roll the car over on his roof, and Dan Johnson nearly took the car, tried to take the cab off it. That was close to me head. That was. I can't remember a lot about that because fortunately I was knocked out.
Yeah.
That shook me up a bit. I lost my nerve for a bit. Last year, or 19, somehow at Kingsley, and I managed to the car reared up. I managed to hit near the starter, and I ripped the back shockers off it, and the back axle went up the seat, and that hurt the base of my spine. That hurt my coccyx, or broke my coccyx. So that has knocked me about again. But when I first started years ago at Rochdale, I had a major roll down the straight there. Seatbelts broke, and I split my helmet in half. Now that was horrendous.
Yeah, that's going some.
Yeah, I was knocked out for 20 minutes. I don't know where I was. I still can't remember it now. So I've had a few knocks. I've had a lot of knocks.
How do you pick yourself back up and get yourself back out there racing again?
It's tough. It's down to people around you. They drive you on because they come down every Saturday, or they're with me during the week, and it's those people that drive me on to carry on.
Yeah.
If it wasn't me, I might have packed in, but it's other people driving me on that make me, I'll do it again, I'll keep going now. And it is down to, as I said before, I'm very lucky. I've always had people to help me and do the car for me. And that's what drives me on, is saying thank you to them, really. Let's get out there. They want to see me race, so I get out there and have a go.
Cool. So who would you say have been your rivals in V8s?
Stuart Smith, definitely Stuart. Darren Cottrell and Andy Turner. I think they've been my main rivals. Rivals on the track, but friends off, and that's what I do like. Yeah. If you've ever wanted to bring anything help, they'd come and help you, and I do respect them for that. So I think yeah, Stuart's been really good. He's still me now, and yeah, brilliant.
Would you ever consider a return to V8s?
No, I'm too old now, I think. Yeah, definitely too old to come back now. Yeah, I can't do it much longer. Now I'm getting too old now.
So what are your thoughts on Bradford returning after 23 years?
Didn't think it'd ever happen, but fair play to Steve Rees for pursuing it. And I think it is the lifeline that the sport needs. We need a premier venue to race at. Okay, Kings Lynn's brilliant, and Skegness and all that. That's all East Coast. We need something over a bit, and I think with Bradford, there's a big stock of people around there, Manchester, all around there. I think massive there. I hope it is for him. He deserves it.
Are you actually looking forward to having a go back racing there then?
Oh yes. Yeah, I can't do the first one, but I'll be doing the Saturday night meetings if I can get a bucket. Yeah, definitely. I am really looking forward to it. I've raced the F1 round there. I've raced the V8 round there and won Eton final. So yeah, I am keen to get round there again. A brilliant track. Yeah, can't wait.
Where would you like to see the V8s as a sport in the next 10 years?
Who knows what's going to happen? I hope they're still going. I'm sure they will keep going. Whether they go electric, I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? 10 years is a big time. I honestly don't know. I think I've got to keep saying they've got to go back to the economy. That is the roots of the sport, was economy. So they need to peg it back somehow. Without upsetting any of the drivers. I don't know how you do that, but they have definitely got to peg it back to make it attractive to people on a low budget, because of fuel costs and effort. It's attractive. Make it economy again.
So what does the future hold for you then in terms of racing and life away from racing?
Well, I'm coming to the end of my career now, I think. If I get hurt again bad, I'm going to throw the towel in. I can't keep, my body won't take it. The doctor said my body of a 20-year-old, but it's struggling a bit now.
I think Steph's disagreeing with you in the background there.
Yeah. Well, my doctor doesn't, but look, I'm helping the young lads. My lad James he wouldn't do V8s. I don't know why he wouldn't do it. So he did do F2s. I've got all my mates lads now doing F2 racing. And I help them. I enjoy it. I enjoy helping them. I give them a good bollocking. Well, I'll give them a good telling off. I know what's got to be done, and I'm trying to drum it into them and help them with car setup and all that. So I enjoy that. I enjoy helping the kids out now, because I am getting too old for it.
So we're more back in the pits and back at home sorting things out then.
Yeah, I need to sort the home out and that sort Steffi out, and
Who would you say you would choose as your top three V8 drivers of all time?
Stuart Smith. I'm going to say Dave Atkinson. Dave was a real good friend of mine. We met in the F1s in the 80s, and I had a real good time with Dave. He put a lot in the sport, took a lot of cars there. So definitely Dave Atkinson. And Ray Witts and Andy Turner, I suppose, because their car prep was absolutely second to none. So yeah, they're my top drivers. I know I've said you wanted 3, but they're my top 4, I think.
I'll go with 4.
Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Yeah.
So is there anyone you wish to mention or thank from your time racing?
Absolutely loads of people. The first person I'd like to thank is my late brother Chris, who drove the coach, and he was always there for me with the car prep and helping me out. So yeah, I do miss Chris a lot. There's so many people who've helped me over the years. I owe all my success to them and their hard work. Without their dedication, I would not have won races or even gone to racing. So thanks to them. I got my sponsors. I got Dave Larkins, good friend. I got Craig Tosser, and I got his son Jack, who is now racing in F2. So yeah, they've been good to me. Always helped me out. I got my son James, who's always there, watching the car down, cooling it down. Thanks to James. And then the people who helped me through the years. I got Rocket Ron. He was my engine man. I got Skip. I got Gerald, who's the team man, and his wife Jean's legendary cottage pie to keep us going up the track on the cold nights. It's brilliant, honestly. And I got Mike, who's helping me now. I got Big Stu, Rory, and Dory, with all his stories, who helps us out. I got the Welshman, Mr. Chris Love, and of course I got big friends in F2. That's F2 111. Dave and Lewis Geach and Kerry, who have helped me with the F1 when we used to race at Coventry. So I've made good friends through the racing. I don't think I've ever fell out with anybody. So I've only had a good time with stock car, with the oval sport. And when I first went into V8, it was more like a club atmosphere. Everybody would help each other get their cars repaired. And that's what made me stop there so long, because I made real good friends, and everybody would help. If I had a problem, they would help me out and lend me spares. And I've always returned that compliment. So to me, V8 is brilliant. Just keep it a bit cheaper and make it more attractive, and I think it'd be good then.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me tonight, and all the very best for the future. And if I see you in the pits at any of the meetings, I might come round for that cottage pie.
Yeah, don't blame you. No problems.
Take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.